welcome to my cooking show. This is kind of the opposite of just doing a casual video. Yes, but also it's fun and I kind of need a little bit fun. This is, well, it is in honor of hitting 50 subscribers. Obviously it's not 1,000 or whatever, but 50 is pretty cool. And it's like my first big milestone. But really, I was planning on making a cake. The idea with this cake is that it's all ingredients that I pretty much eat all the time, and that I know that I can handle, which is, I don't eat them all the time, but I know I can handle them. Plantains and frozen cranberries, and like these are 2 out of 4 fruit that I can eat. At least they're actually fruit and like sweet, as opposed to these, which was the only thing that I could find in the store. And then we have rice, which I literally eat every day. This is for like, usually you would use butter or stuff like that. The basic thing is you need fat. I eat olive oil also every day, so that's what we're using. We have, for further sweetening, rice syrup and a sort of, this is like based on corn sugar, and these this is like dried, what are those called? It's like these, they're usually, like when they're fresh, they're white flowers and they smell really great, and these just homemade dried, just for some flavor. And I will blend all of this stuff up at a measurement that I do not have, because the only time that I've done it, I improvised. I didn't measure anything. I am excited. Like, this is literally the only cake pretty much that I can eat, and I've been waiting for these to ripen this whole time, and it kind of coincided with this little 50 subscriber milestone, which is cool. Looking real appetizing, Danya. You're doing amazing. Oh, I forgot the eggs. You can't forget the eggs. Like, you just have to imagine that this is flour. So, you know, limitations breed creativity. Is this the weirdest cake you've ever seen? But really, a cake is just, you have some starch and it's called carbohydrates. You have a bunch of things that are sweet, something that gives flavor, something that gives fat, and something that holds it all together and will also have some moisture. So that's the basics of having a cake. So, who says that I can't do it in this way? I actually had so much fun making my little cooking show, but I wanted to give you a little update, especially if you've watched my last video. So I have been forced to slow down, and in my last video I had kind of an existential crisis about how easily I felt that I could take a break from drafting and what that meant. Obviously, this is not a vacation, but I'm kind of leaning into this slowing down now, and I feel like it's oddly healing for my relationship with writing, rather than it feeling like I'm giving up, which is so interesting. During this time, I have, for once, not been chasing after a goal and trying to be as streamlined, effective, productive as I can about everything. But I also wanted to tell you about the things that I did do, yeah, and my experience with that. So first of all, there hasn't been much reading. I haven't been reading any audiobooks. I've pretty much not been wearing my headphones, which is unusual, unheard of for me, okay? I was already behind all my reading goals, which I had set the most excellent reading goals this year. And now my numeric goal, like I'm 30 books behind that one. I did finish during this time Dangerous Remedy by Kat Dunn because I read it as an ebook and I was already like at, I don't know, 80% or something. And I've just been reading bits and pieces here and there. And I have also started, and this is so exciting, guys, a little book called The Seventh Cadence by our very, very own Jim Wilbourne. And just, slowly, with no pressure, been reading it. I'm only, I think, 10% in so far. I am actually loving the book and the experience of reading it. It's high fantasy and it has this grand, sweeping world that we're kind of discovering bit by bit. There are prophecies, warring, rivaling nations or factions. We have magic that was prevalent at some point, but has kind of died with the wizard, but also hasn't and is forbidden. I probably would have hesitated to pick this book up because it's high fantasy. I don't know, the genre kind of intimidates me. What got me into reading this one was because I saw in his description that it's like it has found family, and that is catnip to me, and I'm specifically looking for fantasy books, be it YA or adult, with found family themes. And I was like, perfect opportunity to read Jim's book. Yes, sign me up. And yeah, I'm loving it. I think he's going to make like an update of this book at some point, but I'm loving it as it is too. And I will link his website in the description so you can check it out as well. Also check out his channel. He does really, really cool and emotionally impacting videos that are essentially like short films, which is so amazing. That is also in the description. So that's my reading. In terms of writing, I haven't been drafting in my work in progress at all. I was brainstorming a short story, which maybe I'll get back to, maybe I won't. It's not really calling to me the way that my work in progress, it keeps calling to me. I had wanted, as I said, I had wanted to try a writing exercise to like prove to myself that I like writing as an activity. And I had come across, perfect timing, a video of Sierra's that recommended, well, it recommended a couple writing exercises, I think, but one spoke to me, like it sounded perfect for me. The idea was you brainstorm various things, topics, whatever it be that interests you, and then you look at the list that you made and you find some sort of connection and build a story out of that. Which, if you've watched my video about outlining using images on Pinterest, you know why that spoke to me. Yeah, the exercise was really fun, and I think I came up with a decent premise that I could make something out of. I'll link Sierra's video down below as well, in case you want to learn more about these exercises. Also check out Sierra's channel. I think this is not the only video where she has like writing exercises that she shares. It for sure is not the only video that where she like talks about like writing tips and craft stuff in that way. And she also has this really cool right on the spot podcast where she invites a guest and they do an interview, and then there's this terrifying challenge. But these people, I don't know, they persevere and they triumph. Don't ask me how. So, yeah, that was during my live stream with Dana, which was, it was honestly kind of like a slumber party, although for me it was early in the morning, but it was so cozy. I think because of time reasons, there was almost no one there except the two of us, and we were just chatting. And initially, I had planned that I would take a break and like lie down or something during the actual sprint, but then I ended up doing the exercise. But it, like, the whole live stream didn't stress me out because it was so calm and I didn't have to juggle a huge chat, so it all worked out. Obviously, also check out her channel. I link it in the description. She's a lovely person. We had a great time. She has cats that are cute, but aptly described also as little terrors. And she has a bunch of really cool horror leaning projects. And then the other thing that I've been doing has actually brought me back to my work in progress. I have been slowly working on my world building. The idea was that I would draw out a few things about my world building to make them make sense and clearer in my mind, and also I wanted to kind of figure out how I could maybe make, something like an infographic, essentially, to visualize like the rules of my magic system, because I always forget them. Like, I wanted to do that on physical paper, which would allow me to sit on the balcony and like do things slowly and in a way that is kind of calm and soothing, which was wonderful. Like, spending time on the balcony was wonderful. But I then ended up tweaking the magic system again because honestly it needed it. That part was kind of hard brain work, but I found a solution that I really like, and I still allowed myself to take it slow and take breaks. And then I did this really fun thing without even meaning to. So I had ended up with these, I had printed out my world building that I had so far, and I had scribbled my notes all over those pages. And then I was daunted by the idea of having to type all of that up, which, gross. So I wanted to boil it down to the essentials and just write that out by hand at first. Yeah, because I was enjoying my time on the balcony, and I was enjoying this pen to paper practice. But then what I wrote weren't like sober factual notes. What came out was prose, and I kind of slipped into this archaic fantasy voice, almost telling a creation myth about like where the magic comes from, which was so much fun. And also super surprising that that kind of voice came out of me, which was a first for me. Like, my writing voice so far has more been like sort of fantasy, but also pretty modern. And then I also wrote another part of my magic system, essentially as an excerpt from a history book, but a very biased history book, which intentionally leaves some things out, that kind of stuff. And those two pieces kind of illustrate two countries' perspectives on the magic and the conflict there and all of that. And like, I still want to go back and write a bunch more notes. I might do something similar for the characters as well, but yeah, just I feel like I discovered a new thing again, unlocked a new part of my writer brain, which was so cool. And then one other thing that I did was the other day I was brainstorming over chat with Sarita. Again, link is in the description. She was stuck with outlining her next chapters because some things had changed. And she essentially asked me to give her feedback on whether it was interesting enough. And it was. And from there, it dissolved kind of into brainstorming together this little piece of her outline. And she also got ideas for future books, which I got to see in real time. She shared snippets of her writing and like info on her characters and world building. And I was just having the time of my life. Okay, this was like, if I had been doubting, and I was, as I've said in my video the last time, if I had been doubting that I enjoy writing as an activity, specifically in this case, the brainstorming plot ideas, this cured me of that notion. It was the perfect writing activity that was literally just about the fun, for me at least. Like, it was literally not at all about my being productive in my writing towards my work in progress. It was just fun. I also want to say that I can already foresee this being a fantastic book. It has great world building. It's like based in Maori mythology, which I really should learn more about because, but also because it's like so interesting in her world. And I can tell that Sarita has such good story instincts and like such a good understanding of her characters. Also, like, I've seen snippets of her writing. For example, she shares them in her thumbnails if you look closely. And I'll just also tell you to check out her channel as well. I'm sure you will love her. Also, she sometimes talks about marketing. That is also always interesting and might help you. So check out her channel. Yeah, I think you're all caught up now on what I did and didn't do during this sort of, not break, but sort of break, because I for sure have not been at all concerned with word counts and like how much dictation time I'm missing. None of that at all. And it's kind of been great. Okay, but now back to our cake. Here's the cake, and it is going into the oven. Beautiful, bye-bye. Farewell. Oh, I hope you come out of the other side. Oh, hello. It is a little bit of time later. The cake has set. It has cooled. Do we want to look at it? No. Please don't judge. Okay, do I think that I put on the oven too hot? I do. Yeah. And I haven't tasted it yet, but I'm hoping that it still tastes good. Can you see it? I don't know. I don't really know how to do this. Does this help? This is a cake. And for the occasion, put little candles in it. Alright. Because I don't get to eat cake every day, and you don't hit 50 people liking your videos every day. So, da-da-da. Oh. Ooh. Alright. Isn't that so cute? Okay. So, to you, guys, to you, person on the other side of the screen, for being awesome, and to future fun videos that are coming your way. Wait, let's taste it. Quite chewy. I feel like last time it wasn't as chewy. Oh god. Ooh, it's kind of dangerous. And I for sure feel like I've mostly burnt the cranberries, unfortunately. But as far as the cake goes, which is kind of like a cheesecake, I think. Sort of. I might not be the perfect judge. Anyway, this was fun. Thank you for being here for this video. Thank you for being here, you know, on this channel for the other videos. And have a great day. Celebrate the little wins. Thank you. Yes! Cake!